Hello anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we finished up Shiver Star, and in today's episode I'm bringing us back to the main menu really briefly just to look at some of the cards we've collected, just to get a kind of an idea of what these cards look like, and just, you know, this is your reward if you do choose to go for the cards. I showed these off before, but now you can see them up, you can see more of them with their names and things. Kirby enemy names tend to be pretty forgettable outside of the big ones like, you know, Waddle Dee and Waddle Doo. But yeah, and they're not even in this game. You can also get boss cards, and there's Acro, but I think some cards won't appear until certain events happen in the story. I also changed the interface, and you can also see that my main file has out-leveled my practice file. So yeah, because I don't need it anymore. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's jump back in and go into Ripple Star, where Dark Matter has amassed and taken over, and we are going to take the fight to him in this very pleasant area. Huh. This is actually kind of funny how this whole area, even though the entire planet is covered in sadness and pain and misery, you can see that clearly it's not that bad. Anyway, we're going to start this section off by getting Needle, because we're going to need Needle a little bit later on, but not quite yet. Actually, no, let's not do that. There are actually 4 power-ups left that we have yet to show off, 4 combinations, so I'm kind of trying to keep those in mind as I'm doing this whole section. And Needle we need in this level, so I'm going to be taking that with us. And interestingly, it is Needle that makes up about 3 of the power-ups we have yet to see. So that's interesting, but the one we're going to need for the thing in this level is going to need bombs, and well, also, it's going to need bombs, and we've already seen that, so we'll see that when we get to it. You might also think that this level looks a little familiar in its layout, and that's because this is a recreation, almost, of the first level of Pop Star, and I think this is supposed to emphasize the similarities between the 2 planets, but I digress. This is Sawyer. Sawyer, yeah, I hate the pun. Actually, I love the pun. He's a little tougher than most mini-bosses, but he's still, you know, like most mini-bosses. He just pops up from side to side, and if you just attack, you'll kill him without much trouble. So, yeah. Just gonna be going past all these dudes, and interestingly, we haven't seen Fire Needle yet, but I'm not gonna show that off yet, because now we need to keep this Needle until we get the bomb power-up that we need in order to get the power-up that I want to get, so to speak, yes. If I do get to the last level and I still have power-ups to show off, I'm just gonna go and briefly show them off, because I do want to show off all the... I'm gonna have to restart this level, be right back. Anyway, we are back here now, and let's try and get the bomb power-up this time. Okay, let's try and... You son of a... Alright, we're back here again. Okay, so... God! Alright, here we are again. Ugh. Okay, so... How to approach this? Okay, wait for him to throw... You can still salvage this if you keep your needles, so just hang on to that and let him respawn. Alright, I'm gonna get you this time. Ah! Okay, here's what I think is the better strategy. Put it in your mouth and spit it out, and don't miss. And don't miss. Got him! That took much more effort than it should have. So yeah, we've seen this power-up before, and it's alright, but in retrospect it is pretty slow to use, and it's interesting at first, but in the end it's kind of more gimmicky than anything, specifically since you won't normally be fighting more than one enemy at once, 1 or 2 enemies, so the entire radial shot isn't really necessary. But I digress, that was actually the end of the level. I had to restart that too many times for that to be, you know, forgivable. That was embarrassing to start off, but that's okay. And the next level we're not going to go into yet. I'm going to go back to the first level, or the second level of the game, and get electricity, and then I'll be back. Now that level was all nice and cheery and happy, but you come to this level and This is a huge tonal shift, and Waddle Dee's like, hey, in here, and that castle in the background is actually the castle that was in the opening cutscene of the game, and this level is just so tonally different from everything else in this game. The environment is clearly, it's supposed to be happy, there are hearts and everything everywhere, but the music is so eerie and creepy, and there's the darkness in the sky, and, well, I don't need to tell you, you can see and hear for yourself what the theme of this level is going for, so yeah. What do you think? Now that first crystal shard that we got was really easy to get, all you needed was electricity, and we're gonna need to hang on to electricity for pretty much the entire level. I don't think I'm gonna get to show off a new power-up yet again, so that's a little disappointing. I think actually I'm gonna try and get the one power-up that we need ahead of time, which is, as we can see, an old power-up that we showed off in a previous episode, the lightsaber. I think they must have been proud of this ability because you need it to get 2 crystal shards, even though, in reality, even though it's useful, it doesn't really go beyond basic practicality. It's a nice swing, it's effective, but it's not super special. But unfortunately, our path is blocked, so the only one who can break us through is King Dedede, our good old friend, the king, who just bashes the way through for us. And, okay. You don't get to ride on his back here, he just clears that out for you, so that was nice of him. Now I'm wondering if I actually missed the crystal shard, another crystal shard in this area. No, I think it's down in the area above. Well, if I miss it, I'll just get it later. It's easy to go back and get crystal shards, pretty easy, so I'm not too worried about it. I think there's more water in this area. I think. This area is kind of a little labyrinthine. Labyrinthine? Well, the idea, of course, is that we can't get into the castle as it is, so we need to sneak in through the sewers, and they always sneak in through the sewers in games. You show me a game where you don't sneak into a castle through the sewers. Villains need to up the security in their sewers, because clearly it's a weak point. It's a structural weak point, or a defensive weak point. Also, you can see the lightsaber clipping through the wall. That's kind of funny, and a little bit silly, but I digress. There's actually a ton of healing items in this level. It's actually a little bit strange considering that this is like near the end of the game and they're giving you all these power-ups. They're being extremely generous, all things considered. And now we got Adeline giving us candy, so now we're invincible. You can also see all of our friends are kind of coming together in these final areas to help us. And actually this gets us, that allows us to cut through that thing. And I guess it looks like we only really needed Blade to cut through that, so we didn't really need electricity, so my bad. But I digress. We are done with this power because we do not need it. And I think, is this the end of the level? Yeah, this is an extremely short level. Huh. Well, I guess that is that. Alright, I'm gonna go and get this card. Well, I guess today is just going to be a really short episode because Ripple Star is an extremely short world, and if I do this level right here, then the rest of the last episode is going to be super short. And that's right, the next episode is going to be the finale. So, in the next episode, we are going to be infiltrating the castle. We are going to be taking on Dark Matter, and we are going to be saving Ripple Star and possibly the universe? We'll see. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deep, and I hope to see you for the finale of Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards. Bye-bye!